Welcome. I am your host, Andrew White, Talent Acquisition Specialist with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Fort Worth District, and you are listening to Building Careers. The purpose of this podcast is to shed some light on what it means to work for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, as well as some various career opportunities available with the Corps. The Building Careers podcast is made possible by your U.S. service members. Their bravery and sacrifice allows you to listen to this and other great podcasts whenever, wherever, and however you want. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on all your favorite platforms, to include YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, so you'll be notified when each new episode is published. The link will be in the description box. Don't forget to leave a like and comment on what you think and what you would like to hear next. Thank you so much for tuning in, and without further ado, here is Building Careers. Welcome back to another edition of Building Careers. I am your host, Andrew White. Today's show, once again, is, as always, sponsored by U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Fort Worth District. Today's show of Building Careers, we have the pleasure of having Ken Shuler from the Stillhouse Lake office. He is our civil engineer, and today he's going to talk to us a little about what they do over there at Stillhouse Lake. Ken, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Andrew, for having me today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Ken, tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do out there at Stillhouse Lake?
Well, Andrew, and listening audience, I am a retired military person. I've served over 26 years in the U.S. Army military doing engineering, technical construction projects. After I retired from the military, I did some civil works as a contractor, and then I found an opportunity here with the Corps of Engineers. I currently work over here at Belton Stillhouse Lake, where I'm a civil engineer tech. I maintain the Stillhouse Hollow Dam as well as Belton Dam, and these are also what we call flood controlled and irrigation dams. I operate and adjust a variety of instruments and equipment out here. I also maintain the recreational facilities around these two lakes, which also includes campgrounds, RV parks, and walking trails and day use parks. Here at Stillhouse and Belton, we have 22 different recreational areas that we have available, and those get used every day almost. Some of the functions that I do for the Corps of Engineers is project management, contract administration, cost estimating, contract scheduling, also a little bit maintenance and repair. Some of the functions that you will see in the Corps of Engineers, because the Corps of Engineers is a great place to work. I've been affiliated with the Corps of Engineers for over 26 years. I've also, during my military service, I was awarded the Bronze Order of the Fleury Medal, which is a Corps of Engineer medal for personnel that are serving benefits for the Corps or the engineer community. So when you look at opportunities for work or jobs, the Corps of Engineers is a great place and an opportunity to come to. But there are plenty of opportunities that are opening and have been opening for the Corps, and I highly recommend those challenges for anyone to come and be a part of the team here with the Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, that is extremely well put. It is definitely one of those organizations I think we all could agree on is once you get in, you don't want to leave. It's just a great place to be. The people are, to call them professional, I think would be an understatement to describe the characters of the folks that we work with. They are the definition of professional, no question about it, from every aspect of it. And that's great, as a former, military personnel that worked in engineering to now getting that opportunity to continue that love, passion, professionalism with the Corps is just outstanding. It is so nice and refreshing to transition one day wearing the green suit to wearing civilian clothes in an organization that is like-minded and set up the way you spent your first years of professionalism in the service.
That is true, Andrew. That is true.
Hey, do me a favor, Ken. Can you tell me a little more about some of the project missions that you're working on?
Well, currently I'm working on what am I not working on, Andrew? That's
See,
one
you're a
thing
jack
about the
of all
Corps of
trades. That's the
Engineers.
beauty. We love
Yeah,
that.
that's one of the things about the Corps of Engineers. There's something for everyone. One of the current projects that we've been working on, that I've been working on, I got here in January 2019. So I'm fairly new here, but I was brought on because of my contracting administration background and my engineering background. So we are this year finishing up our FY20 service contracts, currently completed and solicited and offered and bidded and closed out our park cleaning and maintenance contract and also our mowing contract. These are the primary services that we have for our recreational areas to maintain these both lakes to ensure that the recreation opportunities are there and is a clean environment for those who would like to come and participate in our lakes, and also that the mowing is kept down for everybody's enjoyment. So those are most of our two major um, service contracts we have, and I've worked from beginning to end on initiating this FY21 package for the next 5 years.
That is great. For our listeners who may not know, can you talk a little bit more about the lakes and the recreation aspect? I know when I was stationed at Fort Hood many, many moons ago, we used to go to the different lakes out there on time off and all that. Can you kind of describe what it's like and what some of the, perhaps your natural resource specialists, your rangers do out there on the lakes?
Right. So Andrew, some of the other aspects of our lake here as far as recreational use is we have pavilions that people can use for major events. There's a associated fee for that, but that could be reserved and reserved on recreational.gov. We have RV campsites. We have also tent campsites for those who like to really rough it in the sense of roughing it. But we offer swim beaches out here, and the swim beaches are tested every year. So we have designated swim areas for people to enjoy, beach areas that people can enjoy, plus shelters, screening shelters for those overnight campers who would like to come out and attend, fishing docks, fishing locations. Great fishing here at Belton and Stillhouse Lake. If you're into fishing, we've done some area improvements for our trails. We have trail walks that's back here at the location of Chalkridge Falls. Actually, a nice area that is maintained back there for the hikers who would like to hike and explore. We have waterfalls that's there. So with what we call the rangers, the national resource specialists that are out and about, we also promote water safety, and they give water safety classes. They ensure that we also not rent out, we also allow a loaner program for personal flotation devices that are free, that are at some of our locations. They're posted up, they're hung up in the swim beach area so that people can enjoy the water activities in a safe manner. We also, with those natural resource specialists or rangers, they also interact with the personnel in our parks to ensure that they're having a fun and safe time, but they also give some lessons about what natural resources that are located in our area. When you're looking at our dams for the Corps of Engineers, especially with this one, we actually control water flow out for the Brazos River Authority through the Corps of Engineers. But with that aspect of that, we also have these recreational areas that people can enjoy day in and day out. And that's where the primary focus with our park rangers go and interact with the community as far as their enjoyment for our parks. As far as the CET or maintenance workers, we ensure that the parks are maintained for their enjoyment. We have RVs that come in and utilize our parks, and sometimes there are water problems or water failures or breaks or electrical issues. We are called 24 hours a day to go out and repair some of those functions just to ensure that our guests here at our park enjoy their activities or are not interrupted throughout their stay.
Got a question for you, and as someone who is recently separated from the military, what advice would you give the young Ken Shuler entering the military and getting ready to leave, or maybe make a career of it and wanting to come into the Corps of Engineers? What advice or guidance would you give someone prior to that, like as far as what type of schooling or classes or experience do you think one should maybe have?
Well, thank you, Ange, for giving me the opportunity to talk to my future self. One of the caveats to that is to say, when you look back on the structure of the Corps of Engineers, uh, there are a lot of jobs. I don't know how many jobs. There's every job you can ever think of here at the Corps of Engineers, not just specifically for engineering, but as far as audiovisual work or media or IT work, administration work. So there's plenty of opportunities in the Corps of Engineer for anyone who is seeking employment. One of my caveats is to mentor other people who I know who are about to get out and transition from the military. And some of those talks that I have with soldiers who are in that position, I tell them that look across your trade, what you're looking for, search USA Jobs or even at the Corps website for that job and prepare your resume accordingly. Well, one of the challenges is that when you're looking for the job, your dream job with the Corps of Engineers, it might take a while. It might not be in Texas. It might be in Alaska, and so you have to be willing and flexible if you're wanting to transition into the Corps of Engineers to maybe look outside of your local state or area to get that opportunity. One of the things we spoke at the beginning that once you're in, there's a lot of people who stay in for their whole career. So sometimes that job you're waiting on might take a little while to develop and become available. For me, I transitioned out in 2013. It took me right at 6 years to get inside the Corps, to get a job with the Corps in the location relative to where I live. I was tired of moving with the Army. I didn't really want to move out of the state, so I reluctantly kept looking with the Corps of Engineers on USA Jobs until something came available that I qualified for and applied. And luckily, they were impressed with my resume and my background and felt that I could be a good addition to the Corps of Engineers. And my demeanor worked well with the family team membership that we have here.
I'm glad you mentioned that, the team and the family mentality of what we have. That I think, speaks quite a bit about the Corps and the type of organization that you're working with, because that is definitely one of the staples I think about the Corps. Tell me about some of your memorable experiences you have on the job as a civil engineer and as a tech.
Well, Andrew, I'm glad you brought that up because once again, every day is a new adventure sometimes when we go out into the recreational area. The first week, I've only been here, almost under 18 months. However, the first week arriving to this position, I was called out to assist with a water rescue. It was very windy that day, and a father and son was in a blow up canoe, and the current got with them, the wind got with them and pushed him out. And he was on the phone, and we were trying to locate him. I was with another ranger, so we had to depart our lake office, go retrieve our boat, our vessel, and then try to identify land features that he was communicating with his phone where he might have been. And luckily, he was in a high, well, unluckily he was in a high grass area, but he was knowledgeable enough to use his flotation device to indicate, because he was at water level, a low silhouette. He was able to raise it up with his paddle to identify his location. So we was able to rescue him and his son on a cold January day out of our lake, and that was very satisfying for myself.
That's definitely one you'll remember for sure. Outstanding. Well, Kenneth, first of all, I want to thank you tremendously for taking the time out of your schedule, and I do appreciate it immensely. Before we let you go, is there anything that you'd like to add, advice, or anything for our listeners to know about either the Corps, what you do, or your operation or your area at the lake?
Well, yes, I'd just like to let our listeners know that, as one of the sayings, as we say in the Army, or we have said in the Army, but when working with in the Corps of Engineers, that the sun never sets on the Corps of Engineers. We are located worldwide. I had one location that I worked with the Corps of Engineers was in Africa, in Botswana, and I worked with the regional office that was there helping develop housing and resources for that country in Africa. So I've been to Germany, Italy, and across the continents for support with the Corps of Engineers in some capacity, one way or the other. So one of my other statements we say is, hey, Esseance, let us try is our motto, but the sun truly never sets on the Corps of Engineers, because we work worldwide, and we also help with those times of national disasters and recoveries and support.
Well, outstanding. Well, Ken, thank you again. We appreciate you taking the time to be on the show with us and share a little bit about your experience here on Building Careers with the Corps of Engineers.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me.
Thank you once again for listening in and tuning in to Building Careers with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Don't forget to subscribe and listen to us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. This is Andrew White signing off.